My brother, who runs a hotel in Hawaii, called me and asked, "Where is your wife?" I replied, "She's on a business trip in New York." He responded, "No, she's at my hotel in Hawaii with another man. And she's using your ATM card." With my brother's help, I made a revenge plan. The next day, my wife called me in panic. The call that changed everything. It was just another regular Tuesday, the kind where the hours crawl slower than a snail uphill. I was in my office sipping lukewarm coffee that tasted like burnt cardboard. I was glued to a spreadsheet I had already reviewed 3 times. The hum of the ceiling fan above buzzed like a lazy fly, and my inbox blinked with unopened messages I wasn't ready to face. That's when my phone buzzed on the desk. A name popped up that made me blink, Malik. My brother and I weren't exactly the kind who called just to catch up. He lived out in Hawaii, running one of those jaw-droppingly expensive resorts tourists fly thousands of miles to photograph. Our conversations were rare, usually reserved for birthdays, and the occasional holiday check-in, so a random call from him in the middle of the day, it wasn't normal. I picked up, already expecting something odd. "Hey little bro," he said, casual as always. "What's up, Malik?" I leaned back in my chair, waiting. There was a pause. "Quick question, where's your wife?" I blinked. "She's on a business trip in New York. She left Sunday." "Why?" Another pause, longer this time. "You sure about that?" Something in his voice shifted, no longer casual, not joking. "Why do you ask?" I said, my voice tightening. "Because," he sighed. "I'm standing in the lobby of the resort right now, and I swear on mom's good name, your wife is right in front of me. She just checked in with another man." The room fell silent. I thought I misheard him. "What?" "She's here," Malik said again, lowering his voice, barefoot in a sundress, with a guy who looks like he belongs on a cologne ad, and she just paid for the honeymoon suite, using your ATM card. I didn't breathe for a moment. My hand froze on the mouse, the coffee suddenly tasted like sand in my mouth. I stared at the monitor, but the spreadsheet no longer made sense. My ears rang, my jaw clenched, but somehow, I kept my voice steady. "Are you sure it's her?" "Positive," he replied. I waved at her, she waved back. The silence stretched again. I rubbed my temple, trying to push away the pounding headache that had just formed behind my eyes. "All right," I said slowly, "don't say anything else to her. Don't let her know you told me." "You got it," Malik said. "What do you want me to do?" I didn't answer right away. My heart was racing, but my mind was already shifting into something colder. I stood from my desk and walked to the window, watching the wind rustle the trees outside. My thoughts were a storm. Belle, my wife of 6 years, I met her at a work seminar back when we were still nobodies. She was electric, sharp, confident, the kind of woman who didn't wait for doors to open, she kicked them down. We got along instantly. I paid for her last semester of grad school when her loan got denied, supported her while she built her startup from scratch, celebrated her wins like they were my own. And now, she was thousands of miles away, wrapped around another man on a beach, smiling like none of that mattered. I ended the call with Malik after a few more instructions and sat down heavily in my chair. I opened our banking app. The transaction history stared back at me like an accusation. $850 ocean view room. $170 champagne brunch. $265 luxury couples massage. $320 catamaran sunset cruise. $2,430 total. Stolen joy. Each charge was a stab to the chest, paid with my card. For the past few months, I'd felt something was off. She had started canceling date nights, always tired, overwhelmed at work. She'd pull away when I reached out, dodge conversations with vague excuses. I chalked it up to stress. I didn't press, I gave her space. Turns out, I gave her room to cheat. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I wanted to throw something across the room, but I didn't. Instead I just sat there, quiet, numb, processing. Because in that moment, I realized something dangerous. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to cry. I was going to get even. I wasn't going to burst into Hawaii demanding answers. I wasn't going to storm into her hotel suite and punch the guy in the face. That's what she'd expect. That's what she'd prepare for. But me, I was going to sit down, think, plan. By the time she realized what was happening, she wouldn't even know what hit her. I picked up the phone again, called Malik back. "Keep watching," I said. "Tell me everything, and send photos if you can, without getting caught." He agreed. He always liked a little drama, and for once, we were on the same team. Then I called my assistant, and said I wouldn't be in the office the rest of the week. I closed my laptop, poured a glass of whiskey, sat on the couch, and stared at our wedding photo above the fireplace. I remembered the way she smiled that day, the vow she made. Her voice cracked when she said forever. I should have known then. Some people say, forever, but they mean until the next shiny thing comes along. I clinked the glass against my teeth. She thought I was a fool, that I'd never find out. But she forgot who I am. She forgot that I pay attention, that I see patterns, that I built my life on structure and precision. She played a careless game in paradise, and now I was about to show her that betrayal has consequences. And Hawaii was about to become the last place she'd ever forget. Paradise exposed. The funny thing about betrayal is how it doesn't hit you all at once. It seeps in like cold water under a door, slow at first, then soaking everything before you realize you're standing in a flood. That night, I sat in my living room with the lights off, letting it all soak in. The only sound was the clink of ice against glass and the slow creak of the ceiling fan above. I stared at the bank statements again, scrolling through the damage like it was a crime scene report. A couple spa package, sunset cruise, room service that could feed a football team, my name on every receipt, my money funding their fantasy. She had taken what we built and used it as a getaway fund for a fling. But I wasn't going to act rash, not yet. Instead, I called Malik again. "Describe him to me," I said, pouring another drink. He chuckled, not because it was funny, but because it was absurd. "Tall, modeling, you know the type. Skinny jeans and loafers on a beach, like he's allergic to sand. She kissed him on the cheek earlier, held his hand. They looked too comfortable to be co-workers. I closed my eyes, he wasn't wrong. I already knew in my gut it wasn't business. Her emails had become vague lately, no more, be back Wednesday, or client meeting at 3 o'clock, just one-word replies or ghost-like silence. I told myself she was stressed, that she needed space. I gave her that, and she took it all the way to Hawaii. Thanks man, I said, keep an eye on her. Don't let her know you've said anything. Already on it, Malik replied. She booked the stay under your full name, by the way. No shame at all, of course she did. After we hung up, I sat in silence for a while. I thought about everything. The way she used to wait up for me when I worked late, the way she used to laugh at my terrible jokes. Somewhere along the line, that laughter had faded, and I didn't know when it happened, or maybe I just didn't want to notice. The idea of confronting her right then burned through my chest like acid. I imagined flying down to Hawaii, bursting into their suite, catching them red-handed. But then I pictured her reaction. She'd probably gasp, cry, beg, deny, maybe even twist the narrative and say I invaded her privacy. Turn it into a story about how I didn't trust her. The victim would become the villain. No, I needed her to be exposed, but not just to me, to everyone. That meant no yelling, no throwing things, no drama. Just facts. I pulled up my shared folder from our bank. Every transaction lit up like a breadcrumb trail. I made a new spreadsheet because I needed this to be organized, cold, surgical. I labeled each entry by date, location, description, and amount. It wasn't hard to tell what was hers. She loved extravagant little things, candlelit dinners, imported wine, spa facials with names that sounded like they belonged in science fiction movies. And the worst part, it was all billed from my side of the account. I felt like a ghost, watching my life from outside. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat at the kitchen island, lit only by the fridge light, drafting a plan. I wasn't going to let her leave Hawaii with a tan and a smile. She'd arrive with betrayal, and return with a legal storm. The next morning, I texted Malik. Can you stall her tomorrow morning? Tell her she's been upgraded, or some VIP beach experience, just buy me time. He replied a few seconds later. Easy. Consider it done. You cooking something up? Yeah, I texted. I'm done being quiet. Then I called someone I hadn't spoken to in years, Joan. She and I went to college together, and she was the kind of person who could hack into a vending machine, and get it to give free snacks for a week. Now, she was a cybersecurity consultant for a law firm and freelanced on the side. When I explained what I needed, she didn't even flinch. I'll send you a tracker that links to a live purchase log, she said. Give me access to the joint account, and I'll feed everything into a private sheet. Can you match it to GPS locations? I asked. She laughed. You want time, place, and context. You got it. I'll have it by tonight. Thanks, Joan. I'll make it worth your time. You already have, she said. I love a good revenge story. I hung up, and for the first time in hours, I smiled. Because now, it wasn't just about the heartbreak. It was about reclaiming control. I texted Malik again. Send me a picture. Just one. An hour later, a photo came through. The two of them, standing near the beach bar.